We're here at the River Road Family Vineyards and Winery with Joe Freeman Winemaker, and I was just referring to this as a post-harvest vineyard.
Okay.
This is a Chardonnay vineyard, right?
This is Chardonnay,
Right.
and we produce about 500, 600 cases of Chardonnay from our 2 acres here each year.
Okay.
But definitely post-harvest.
You know, one of the things I noticed for starters here, these are Chardonnay grapes, and they've kind of turned. Let me take these off if I can. They've kind of turned really dark, and I had to look twice to realize that they really are Chardonnay grapes. So,
Sure.
what has occurred here? Some raisoning, right?
Right. There's a little bit of sun damage. There's also various different vineyard molds, and you can see there's some green mold, the aspergillus mold.
Right.
There's also some of these purpling colors in the berries. There's some botrytis strikes. So, theoretically you could turn this into a late harvest Chardonnay.
Right,
So,
exactly.
but yeah, just a tiny quantity. Here and there we have a few clusters that were missed during the picking.
And I see the leaves look like a little burned. What is that, Joe?
That's, again, I think there's some mold that's kind of attacking the vines. These vines are shutting down, so they've pulled back all of their nutrients from the leaves. You can see they're yellowing and then browning. So what they're doing at this point is they've decided, the winter's coming. We need to prepare. It's time to drop the leaves, bank all of the carbohydrates in the little fresh flush of root growth that you get after harvest. So they've had a good month right now to be able to set themselves up for a good 2013.
Right.
And we have pretty good thoughts on what's coming for 2013.
Okay.
We had a great spring, which usually allows for a high quality, even differentiation of the fruitful buds for next year.
Okay.
So the spring prior to the harvest year is very important, and this was a great spring.
That's interesting. So the spring of 2012 can give you a sense of what's going to happen in 2013.
Correct.
Fascinating. Okay.
So all sorts of things like the warmth and the light contacting the wood that we're going to be leaving for next year. That's all setting it up for good growth of vegetative and fruitful growth for next year.
Right.
So I'd expect that we would have pretty good initiation of clusters next spring.
Right. And what kind of activity is happening in the vineyards in terms of working with them nowadays? Are they just basically left alone at this point?
We irrigated.
Okay.
So after harvest, because the vine gets a clue once those clusters are off, it changes. There's different hormonal cues that the vine is taking from those clusters, and when the clusters are gone, it knows to start prepping for winter. It's done what it needed to this year, which was propagate.
Okay.
So it's already sent its seeds off, hopefully to become new vines.
Right.
It doesn't know that we've composted them, but those vines think we've been successful, we've reproduced.
Okay.
So the vine at that point says, I want to stay alive for next year. I'm a perennial. I'm not done yet. So they send out a flush of root growth, and what we try to do is we try to give them the water they need at that point to maintain good vegetative vigor and continue to grow strong root systems that'll carry them through for next year.
Okay. So Joe, we're going to wrap up with just sort of some administrative information. Tell us about the acreage on the property. How many is planted to vines, and what are the different varieties that you have on the property?
Well, the property here is 12 acres, and of that there are 10 planted in grapes.
Right.
So we have the winery on site here, and of those 10 acres, we have 8 acres of Pinot Noir and 3 acres of Chardonnay.
Got it. Okay.
And among those, there's different clones. So we have 4 clones of Pinot Noir, 3 clones of Chardonnay, and that gives us a lot of good versatility each year to produce the best Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from this region.
And additionally, the soils here, how would you describe them?
These are Gold Ridge soils, so it's a well-known class of soils, sandy clay loam that is a little bit nutrient deficient in some ways, which helps to restrain the vigor of the vines. So the vines have to scrap a little bit for nutrients, but there's deep soils, really good water holding capability, and so typically they've got enough water. They could find a balance point between that vegetative growth and the fruit that we're carrying,
Mm-hmm.
and in general produces Chardonnay and Pinot Noir of great quality.
Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you for your time this morning.
You're welcome. Yes.